I honor all beings that are clicking on this video at any given point in time. If you are coming in a benevolent energy, meaning, you're not toxic, at least, you don't try to be. We all got our little issues, right? Who's perfect? Who's perfect? No one. Okay. So we're not going to go there. Don't play that game because I'll win that one every time. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about some double standards just here. And I did this just for provocation, just for a few minutes because I'm actually about to get going. So let's do a little bit of a story time. Okay. Now, and let's be all fair. We can put a pin in our sacred cows and our personal emotions and attachments to certain things. This helps to learn how to see things from other people's perspectives in life. Okay. Even me. Okay. This is applying to all of us. Okay. So, let's talk double standards or hypocrisy. Now, some of us grew up in the 80s, okay, in the 80s and in the 90s, and depending on where you grew up and how you grew up, there was this thing, as an African American, most of us grew up as Christians, even if we lived like hellions every day of our lives, we had, a Bible as tall and big as a dictionary, sitting on coffee tables. You got the footprints, the Lord's Prayer, the Last Supper, the classics. Okay. And I'm saying that not in a negative way, but just giving context of how a lot of us grew up. Okay. No matter what kind of lifestyles, we had or our family had. Okay. Now, we had our prejudices. You would run from Jehovah's Witnesses. It's like, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Now that's something to play with. The Jehovah's Witnesses are doing the same thing in which some of us claim to have done as Christians, but yet, we felt some kind of way about them coming to knock on doors and do some of the same things that we called ourselves doing in terms of those of us that got into like outreach and those types of things. Mm-hmm. So let's talk double standards. Let's say someone like myself who's into incense, into, essential oils, energy sprays, things of that nature, right? And let's say there are people who aren't, or there are people who maybe, let's say they have allergens. Everybody claims to be so sensitive nowadays just to get out of something. So let's say somebody had an allergen to an essential oil, to an incense, or whatever, right? So if I were to be out and about in the public, let's say, standing out in front of places, lighting up my shit, my cigar, not my cigars, I don't smoke, my incense, my cinnamon sticks, spray, all those things. There are some people, follow me, that would have a problem with that. They would be upset, they would be bothered, they would say something stinks, they would say, they're allergic to orange, whatever. Okay, and they would be ready to make a pretty damn big deal about it, or at least they're cussing and having a bitch fit, because they feel like the person is basically having no sympathy or empathy or consideration for anyone other than themselves. Oh, sure. Okay, so now play with that, and in real time, you guys, just play with that for a second. Play with it. The claim would be that the person who is spraying the essential oil, the incense, stick, whatever it is, the claim would be they're inconsiderate. They're inconsiderate, and other people's health, other people's conditions, other people's beliefs. Because let's say people felt like that was sacrilegious, ooh, and they would be saying, oh my gosh, they're doing their stuff, right? They can be addicts on every drug made on earth, but they could, They could be claiming, you know, oh my God. But they themselves be standing outside with their cigarettes. People bringing in their babies. You know, people who don't smoke, people who have health conditions, people who have respiratory problems, all those things. And you don't see they whole ass, you know what I'm saying, making any adjustments. You don't see them. Bear with me. I'm actually out and about, so it's a lot of activity.
Thank you.
No problem, dear. Yeah, I mean, come on. We're just going to be real for about 5 minutes and stop being fake for 2 minutes, okay? You don't see they whole ass putting up cigarettes. You know why they're not? Because what they're going to say is it's their free will and their free right to, if they're in a public space, okay, they're going to say that they're outdoors in a public space. Hold on one second, guys.
Thank you.
No, not a problem. Yes, no worries. They're gonna say, yeah. All right. They don't care, because to them it's their right to do. Smoking their cigs, their weed, their bongs, their hooks, their cigars, whatever it is they do. If it's legal in their state, because some places it ain't legal to do certain shit, but they don't care about somebody bringing in their newborn baby. They don't care about some old granny, or grandpa dragging, they oxygen tape. They don't know. It's an assumption. They don't care. What I'm trying to say is they do not care. Okay? That's why I said the double standards and hypocrisy. They do not care not one bit about the health and the well-being of other people. Because their behavior proves it. If they cared, they would not just be out and about in spaces where there's possibly children coming in, babies. They would try to get in a corner, or, go in a spot where it's like, okay, let me go smoke my shit. Not in a fucking doorway. That's intentional. We're not going to get into the other stuff that it's about, because these people terribly bad need some kind of energy and reaction, and it's really going badly for them. But the point that I'm making, asses is getting towed up. But the point that I'm making is this: to hell with all the other ill will and hidden dishonor and secret agendas. Let's put a pin in that. Let's pretend, for fun and shits and giggles, let's pretend like that is not happening. And let's just keep it down to just the factuals and the lack of social and cultural, manners. Because that's what that is. Okay? But these will be the same people who would roll their eyes at the folks who want to light an incense and spray a spray, because perhaps they don't want to be overwhelmed and overcome by other people's free will to smoke all to be damned. Maybe they don't want their biofield affected because they don't give a fuck about their biofield, or they don't have intelligence or knowledge about it. Either way it goes, just because they don't care, you see that? They'll be bitching and moaning and claiming that person, oh my God, which one is it going to be? You can't be both. That's why I said the hypocrisy and the double standards. It can't be both. You can't be a lacker. People can't be a lacker of social ethics and then have the audacity to complain. You can't be a train smoking motherfucker standing outside in front doors where people have to frequent to go in and out of certain places, and then simultaneously complain that somebody is spraying essential oil or an incense. That's hypocrisy. Because we all allergic to something. I'm allergic to smoke. That ain't gonna stop nah place, nowhere, motherfuckers from smoking. Is it? Not if it's outside. It ain't gonna stop now, none of that. What you'll get told is people have the, if it is not specifically marked, and even then you still might have violators. If it doesn't state that, the only thing I can recommend is you go somewhere else, or you blah blah blah, because it's their right to smoke, and it's their right, to speed up their decaying body. And who are you to judge? And who are you? And the main people that's always saying, who are you to judge, are the ones that be the judges, Judgy Judgersons from Judgeston, Judgingsville. Judging the person who wants to light incense. The person who wants to spray essential oil while they smoke their lungs into oblivion. And drink their liver and kidneys into non-existence. But, oh, I'm sorry. I think I'm blocking the thing. Let me get out the way. Oopsie. Okay, I'm out the way. Okay, let me get out the way. Girl, I'm messing up. Okay, yeah, I gotta go. I just wanted to share that. This is just food for thought, information, educational purposes. I'm a person who loves thought provocation. I like provoking myself to think, and evaluate myself and think outside of the box. And I am always trying to, I'm not perfect, but I'm always trying to expand. Okay, because I believe we all have blind spots, whether we are able to own that or not, and that's just the condition of this life. And as is typical, anything to do with us, we have a tendency to have a little more leniency because it's our own addiction, it's our own habit, it's our own lifestyle. But when it is something that is not to our liking, we have a tendency to really want to fine tooth comb it and go hard. It's a human condition. So intentional thought, mindfulness helps us to evaluate ourselves, and then it helps us just to look at life. Okay? Do I feel like I should be free to walk my blah, blah, blah with no considerations? And then if that's the case, do I understand that there are others who can exercise that same thing? Because if I don't, then I'm ignorant, I'm gullible, possibly a little narcissistic. If I have it in my delusional world, in my mind, that because I am who I am, I can do what I want to do, but I don't want those same things done to me. I can intrude on others, but I don't want others intruding on me. I could have no consideration for others, but I demand and expect people to have consideration for me. Do we see the pattern yet? I make concessions for myself and my weaknesses, but I'm ready to nail people at the cross for the very weaknesses that I have that I pretend to not have, or some that maybe I don't have, and that's maybe one of my strengths that I got, and I'm ready to nail somebody else to the cross. But to my own shit, I'm wanting grace. Oh, I love it. I love this shit. I'm coughing and stuttering and feeling my throat, and it's different. It's different because why? It's different because it's us, huh? That's the bottom line truth. It's different because it's us. It's different because we want it to be different because it's us. Well, everybody smokes wrong. No, everybody do not. See that? Wrong. Everybody drinks liquor and recreate. Wrong. Everybody do not. Wrong. Again, assumption. It's all wrong. It's normal. It says who? Because that's how you grew up. That's your neighborhood. It says who? Who defined that? Who defined it? Who decided that that's normal? Well, it's normal, it's legal, it's normal. You can, okay, that it still might not be normal, and that has nothing to do with ethics, and it has nothing to do with consideration of others. Simple as that. Because there are some people that would argue essential oil is normal because it's nature. There are some people that, they don't want to fuck with me. especially the herb smokers, because see, that's one of their main arguments. Okay, very well. And essential oils is up here. Very well then. Okay. It's choice, it's preference, it's lifestyle, it's environment, it's culture, it's conditioning, it's, you know, all those things. But this is why I say it, but if only, and I don't think it's going to happen in this matrix. I don't, at least, yeah, maybe for a few. But on the grand scale, no, because it's not money in that. It's not money in considering others. Oh, I'm going to put that on a t-shirt. Now, I'll take it back, because sometimes there's an agenda there, you know, sociopathic shit. Am I going to get some cool, you know, this might look good for my portfolio. But when I say consideration of others, we're really talking about the failing to project one's own lifestyle choice. If I am a smoker, it would be kind and considerate of me. I don't care if I've been smoking since ever I was allowed to pick up a cigarette. It would be kind and considerate of me to be mindful of that, even as I'm out and about in public. Not everybody is. There are people with children. There are people with health conditions, children. You got it. Try to put myself in a space to where at the best that I can. I'm certainly not going to be standing in front of doorways. I'm certainly not. There's certain things that I'm just going to, like, find me a corner, find me a, you know, to where I'm not unnecessarily directly affecting other people's energy if I can help it. Okay, that's called maturation. I'm gonna say that for shits and giggles. That's, yeah, everybody, a man and a woman, everybody talking big shit because they buying shit and they're driving cars and got a little apartment. Got a little criminal ass job as a stalker. I mean, surveillancer. Maybe they're a man, maybe they're a woman. It's funny how we're defining things. That's something I'm gonna provoke y'all to think about too. Who told you? Where did we get our formation of what a man and a woman is? TV? The movies? Watching Baby Boy and Boys in the Hood? What? Where did we get our definition of a man and a woman? Why do we feel that way? What practical application, and how does that integrate with all these other things other than the standard basics of I can work a job, I can pay some bills, I can, you know what I'm saying, put on a show and a mask for the world, I could, you know, go buy a Tesla, which is it's making it lose its fucking value because everybody's got a fucking Tesla. It ain't even all that no more. Too many people got it. It's like, oh, they must be a part of the program. Too many people have one. It's like, oh, they're part of the program. It ain't even what it was. It ain't even what it was. It ain't special. I'm just being silly, you know, just having a little bit of time here. But my whole point, okay, but if you're ignorant, okay, then your womanhood, manhood is also down the toilet. Because if your ignorance causes you to behave ignorantly, then it doesn't matter. If you're sadist, all these things, then they're not, by definition in itself, they're not a man and a woman. I don't care if they 1,000 years old and they nigga got 1 foot in a grave. They're a child in an old decaying body with a whole lot of money and toys to play with. That's what that is. That is what it is. What is a man? What is a woman? To you. You see how subjective Because some of us, hell, we so pole came up so child. Somebody acting doing the bare minimum. That's the, we making a big deal of it. You know, because we ain't had shit, and we you know, we used to ain't having shit. We used to people ain't being shit about shit. So when somebody do 2% of shit, that's regular. It's like, yeah, but they're a whole killer. Like, they're a stalker, they're a killer. They're trying to hurt you. Oh, but they got a job, though, and they did. Nigga. They're a sellout, yo. And I'm going to get off that. Uh-oh. See, even some of my old schoolers, that's my generation, and up, they didn't trade it in, they OG. They traded it in. They don't know it yet. They traded that shit in, nigga. The moment they became a weak, uh-oh. Oops, oopsie. They trade that shit in. Because some of these people was OGs. I'll go there. They was. There's a whole lot of motherfuckers. I'll say that. Yeah, old school. They was OGs. And an OG ain't selling out for shit. For nothing. For your offer. For their name to be up in lights. Nothing. Not a real one, nigga. Not a real one. Say it like that. Not a real one. They ain't finna sell you their family. They ain't finna do no weird ritual, bitch. They ain't going to no special under the mountains, and they ain't finna none of that shit. They ain't going to no. They gonna look at you and roll their eyes, and they gonna say, no, I don't want shit that goddamn bad. So some people they traded in their OG rights. They became sellouts. They traded in decency, ethics, you see, because we're still talking about the same thing. Double standard hypocrisies and all those things. In other words, I can be toxic and do shit to you secretly and toxically, but then I want to get on TV. I want to get in front of the camera. I want to get on social media. I want to do all of these things, stand behind podiums. I want to, knowing full well I'm a hoe. Knowing full well, knowing full well I done stole from a disabled motherfucker. I done stole, bitch, and did some undetestable, unmentionable things. But I want to sit there and scrutinize someone else's life. I'm convinced 80-20 rule. 80% of humanity do not want to really be good. They just want the purpose of appearing to be that way. They don't really want to be legit, but they just want to be, they want the perks for it. They want the oohs, the ahs, the high fives, the way to goes, the, oh, ain't they so giving and kind? So ain't that such a man, woman of God? Ain't that such a powerful, mighty woman of nothing? Ain't that such? No, let's call them what they are, a stalker. And stop playing games. We need to call shit what it is. Thief. You know, we don't want to call people no more. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's a thief of time, thief of resources, thief of opportunity, visible thieves. Okay, girl, did you come home? Your mother is here? Oh. Okay, guys, I gotta go. My son is looking some kind of way. But yeah, have fun with it. It ain't gonna hurt, and then we can go back to being whatever. You know what I'm saying? Double standards and hypocrisy is more common than we know. Okay, and we all have nose blindness and blind spots because it's convenient. We often don't want to look at ourselves. We don't want to see ourselves as someone who's hypocritical. But just food for thought. Think about it. All right.